So why is LeBron James so undervalued, right? What's my point when I say that LeBron James is undervalued? Well, first of all, from a simple numeric value, we know that LeBron is makes about $140 million a year over 4 years. It sounds like a lot of money, and it actually is, but not when we consider the time value of money, A, and the expenses that go into it. And let's not forget, LeBron's been playing basketball since he was a kid. So you have to divide that money he's making now since the beginning. And he's probably arguably one of the greatest players that ever played the game. So all of this talent puts him in a stratosphere where he can make that kind of money. But when you consider what he brings to the table and what he offers is the ownership and the National Basketball Association, his resources, he's not getting paid nearly enough as to what he's worth. I mean, that's at least from an economic standpoint how we would look at it. He probably generates billions of dollars for the Basketball Association, not getting paid nearly that much money, 140 million. But let's break it down anyway. That 140 comes out to 35 million a year. I divide it by 4. And then furthermore, because LeBron pays taxes in every state that he plays in, every athlete or entertainer pays additional taxes in every state that they play in. So if you play in, Phoenix for 2 games, they take your salary divided, take the 2 divided by the number of games you played, and they charge you for that. And when you add the federal taxes and the state taxes, it's pretty much common knowledge that the LeBron's tax rate is going to be in the 60% range, which is pretty high. That means of that 35 million, he's paying 21 million in taxes, means his net payment every year is 14 million, which is still a lot of money. But when you start to take out all these expenses, it's pretty tough. And then at least 15% goes to his agent, his lawyer, his business manager, probably a little more, but I'm going to be conservative and say 15%. And the guy doesn't do it himself. He's a business in and of himself. So then that takes that number down to, if I multiply it by 85%, the reverse of 15%, I get 11,900,000. So now let's do the present value of money calculation. Present value at 6%, I use 6% discount rate over 4 years at 11,900,000 means that LeBron's contract, $140 million contract, is actually worth 41,234,000, and that is not anywhere near the $140 million number. So the government has to get paid, which that money gets redistributed to the country, right? Any taxes we pay basically goes into a pool that gets redistributed to the military. God bless them, to the roads, to infrastructure, to pay all these different expenses that the government is in charge of. And so that's where that money goes. And then the agents make their money, and that's what LeBron ultimately comes out with. And to just go over for my classes, if I raise that discount rate assumption, it lowers this gross amount even more. If I lower it to 4%, I can get a little bit more money. But it's not a king's ransom, no matter how good he is. And again, it demonstrates how tough it is to acquire wealth in this country. It's another point. That's why you want to be an owner of businesses and not so much a worker, because as a worker, you don't get the benefit of building wealth. The owner can build wealth in the value of his business. He also takes the risk, or she takes the risk. But while they're building that wealth, they do that by hiring employees, by taking land, by taking all the economic resources, and by taking risk. But the reality is, if you're a paid employee, it's very hard to amass great wealth. If you're an owner of things, in a capitalist system, you can acquire wealth and you could leverage your investment. Now, LeBron can do, people will say, well, he does advertisements, he does other businesses. That's true. But his main business is playing basketball. And this gives you an example of how tough it is. And again, we're talking about one guy who's really, really good. And of all the people who pick up a basketball, this is a very small amount making this money. So it kind of puts the economic perspective into play. I hope I gave you some food for thought today. And I enjoy making these tapes, and hopefully my classes will enjoy them, and anybody else who cares to learn about time value of money. Thank you.